The topic of discussion today is seeing the creator face to face. Our topic of discussion today is seeing the creator face to face. Welcome to the OahspeCollegeUniversity College University. College University is here to give us a greater light, bring the light to our world, to free us from bondage that religions put upon us. Seeing the creator face to face is the topic of discussion today. The popular belief is that the Creator, the Almighty Father, can be seen face to face or looked upon spiritually, or having a shape, or sitting on a throne, or on a mountain top. Let me just say this again. Our religion is a popular belief that the Creator can be seen face to face or looked upon spiritually, or having a shape, or sitting on a throne, or a throne in heaven, or on a mountain top. I tell you, if anyone tells you this or show you in a book, then you should ask the person for identification card. Angels were once human. Spirit of the dead is what you can see as an angel. You could only see spirits as an angel. You could see angels. Spirits were once human. Now, the King James Bible have confused the matter. They let you believe that you could see the Creator face to face. That's a lie. The OahspeCollegeUniversity clears the confusion and clears the conflict and confusion, and decodes clearly and accurately without beating around the bush that, the name God, Lord, a rank and position of authority that angels reaches as they mature and progress in heaven. The OahspeCollegeUniversity clears it up. When you read the Bible, there's a part in Bible in Exodus where it says the Israelites saw God face to face. They said Moses saw God face to face. I'm going to do a video about who was the God of Moses. But today, the topic is seeing the Creator face to face. This is the lie. You cannot see the Creator. No one can see the Creator. Not even Moses. Moses cannot see the Creator. Abraham cannot see the Creator. You could see angels, yes. And these angels, some of them who are high in grade, they take the position of authority called God. They take the position of authority called Lord God. And they take the position of authority called Lord. Those are ranks. And the OahspeCollegeUniversity Bible explains this clearly, that these are ranks of angels. So yes, you could see God. And that's what happened to Moses and the Israelites. They saw God, but that's not the Creator. If you have not watched my video about who is God, what is God, you should go watch it. And I got a presentation video clearly stating that these are two separate entities. The Creator should not be confused by God, and God should not be confused with the Creator. The two different entities. God is a position of authority that an angel takes as a mantle, authority, a rank, an office. Just like the President of the United States is an office. That person who takes that position is human. Today, we already know who that is. So Trump is the President of the United States. But President is a title. But in your King James Bible, they said that God could be looked upon, that God was looked upon. God, they saw God face to face. The Israelites even saw God face to face. Yeah, you saw God they saw God face to face. But what they saw was an angel. And in my next video, who was the God of Moses, I'm going to show clearly from the OahspeCollegeUniversity that it was an angel. Let me just go to the book of Judges, chapter 20, verse 10 for a minute to explain this, that you can't see the Creator face to face. It's impossible. And your book, the Christian book, says that they saw God face to face. Yeah, they did see God face to face, but that was an angel. That's not the Creator. The book of Judges, chapter 20, verse 10. Verse 10. Do not think that the soul grows by prayers or confession to this God or to that God. For no one shall be exalted for the words without works. Yet, in whatever God you firmly believe, you may worship him, for he is your choice. Nor shall any man prevent you in this your liberty. But remember, the same rule holds for all this day. You shall never see the God you worship, unless indeed it is an idol, or deceiving spirit, or an image of wood or stone, or some compressed substance. You see, the King James Bible said they saw in Exodus, the Old Testament, that they saw God face to face. And they said the Israelite saw God face to face. What they saw or seen was an angel. They saw the angel that was assigned to the people of Israelite, that was assigned to the group or tribe, the people called Israelites at that time. That's what they saw. They saw an angel. They didn't see the Creator. I'm going to go to the next chapter again. Another chapter, the book of Discipline, chapter 1, verse 6 and verse 14 and verse 20. I'm going to be reading from the book of Discipline, chapter 1, verse 6, verse 14 and verse 20. Verse 6, neither is there an angel in heaven so high, nor sufficiently wise to comprehend Jehovah in his entirety, nor to see him as you see a fellow man. You see that? Neither is there an angel in heaven so high, nor sufficiently wise. You see? Sufficiently wise. So the highest angel, the highest order of angel, the highest category of angel, that's what this verse is saying. And comprehend Jehovah in his entirety, nor to see him as you see a fellow man. You see that? And verse 14 breaks it down. Hear your God, O man, and distinguish then that the two, God and Jehovah, are not the same. You see that? Nor is your God more than what you shall be in time to come. Verse 14 is telling us that we shall become God. We human become God in time to come. You see that? Let me just read verse 6 and verse 14 again. Verse 6 is saying, neither is there any angel in heaven so high, nor sufficiently wise to comprehend Jehovah in his entirety, nor to see him as you see a fellow man. So in other words, the highest order of angel, the highest order, like, the highest, whatever you call it, that you profess to be an angel. So they have ranks of angels. Though the Christian Bible doesn't give you a proper order, but the OahspeCollegeUniversity gives you clarity, saying that there's a level, interior level called Orion, Nivanian, Oigtan, and Eon. Now, Eon is the highest they mentioned in the OahspeCollegeUniversity. So what they're saying is that, what this verse is saying is that even the highest level, so the Eon angel cannot come and say to you that they've seen the Creator face to face. You see that? An Oigtan angel cannot come. An archangel or Nivanian angel, Orion angel cannot come and tell you they've seen the Creator face to face. You see, that's what this verse 16 is saying. And then verse 14 takes the two entities, God and the Creator, and separate them and let you know clearly that the two are not the same. Verse 14, hear your God, O man, and distinguish that the two, God and Jehovah, are not the same one, nor is your God more than what you shall be in time to come. Verse 20, therefore, I'm like any other spirit of the dead, a one-time man upon the earth, even as you are in this day, but one within the organic heavens of the earth. You see, verse 20 is telling you that God, who is an angel, was once human like us, and is telling you that in the future we are going to become a spirit of the dead after we die, and then we're going to attain to the position. So this book of Discipline, chapter 1, verse 6, 14, and 20 breaks the code and just destroys Exodus completely from the King James Bible. Those Israelites and Moses saw an angel face to face. They didn't see the Creator. That's a lie. You see, let me show you verses in the OahspeCollegeUniversity that tells you can't see the Creator face to face. Just broke down. The next one is the book of Sentences, chapter 10. Now, Sentences in the OahspeCollegeUniversity was an archangel, and he was the God, the very first God of heaven and earth, and he kicked off the Ark of One 73,000 years ago, starting from 1848. So if you were to go backward 73,000 years, he was the very first God of heaven and earth. And in this book of Sanctities, and there's a point I'm making, if Sanctities, who was the first God of heaven and earth, saw God, if he saw the Creator face to face, he would have said something. You see what I'm saying? He would have said something, you know. And he didn't say anything about, in the entire book of Sentences that I read, I didn't see any of the angels or the goddesses seeing the Creator. But instead, the book of Sentences chapter 10 verse 1 says, verse 1, Jehovah spoke to God. You hear that? It says Jehovah spoke to God. Jehovah spoke to God, saying, steer your ship to the southland. You will never see this verse in the Christian Bible. The Creator spoke to God. Yeah, the Creator spoke to God. Jehovah spoke to God, saying, steer your ship. There are ships in heaven. There are planes in heaven. Just like we have planes in our world, ships in our world, they also have ships, motorcycles or cars in heaven. You know, steer your ship to the southland, my son, and visit your Lord. You see the difference? This verse 1 is differentiating the difference between God, Lord, and the Creator, Jehovah. Just in one verse now. In one verse alone. And if you have not watched my video about the difference between Lord God, God, and Lord, you should go watch it. I did a video about this. Let me just read this one more time. Jehovah spoke to God, saying, steer your ship to the southland, my son, and visit your Lord. You see that? Who is the God of Vuhu? And that's Africa. Who is the God of Vuhu? This was, like I said before, this was about 73,000 years ago. Jehovah spoke to God, saying, steer your ship to the southland, my son, and visit your Lord. Who is your God? Who is the God of Vuhu, Africa? And God went as commanded to the south, running close to the earth over deserts and mountains. You see that? So if God is the same thing with the Creator, you will never have this verse in verse 1 in chapter 10 of the book of Sentences. You see? And Sentences was an archangel who was crowned the God of heaven and earth. And Sentences was the ones who brought archangels and angels and spirits to our world, and they were the one that had sex with the race of Asu, the race of Asu that humans, race of humans that people call Adam, the Adamites. And this was about, a while ago, but the timeline when the Asuans were in existence were about 79,000 years ago. But Sentences did not take over our world until about 73,000 years ago. And if there was any problem about God and the Creator being the same, they would have said it in this book of Sentences, but nothing about that was said. Now, let me go to another book, the book of Divinity, chapter 9, verse 6. The book of Divinity, chapter 9. It says, the voice of Jehovah spoke to God. You hear that? The voice of Jehovah spoke to God, saying, maintain your kingdom, and your gods and Lord under you shall also maintain their kingdom, nor shall you let my people become discouraged with my works. You see that? The voice of Jehovah spoke to God. It didn't say God spoke to God. You see that? This verse 6 in the book of Divinity chapter 9 is just telling you clearly that the Creator and God are two different things. The voice of Jehovah spoke to God, saying, maintain your kingdom, and your gods and Lord under you shall also maintain their kingdom. You see that? Now, I'm going to go to another chapter, and I'm going to end this broadcast about seeing the Creator face to face. The book of Extra, chapter 40, verse 15. The book of Extra, chapter 40, verse 15. Verse 15 says, I will make it plain to them that to worship a spirit, though he is a God, hear that? Is simply giving of their own soul into bondage. So for those of you who believe that the creator is an image of man in heaven and sits on the throne and makes judgment, what verse 15 from the book of Exodus chapter 40 is telling you is that how we make it plain to them that to worship a spirit, though he is a God, is simply giving of their own soul. So you humans that believe that the creator is an image, is in an image of man. Of course, we get this from chapter 1 in Genesis from the King James Bible. This is how this whole nonsense started. For they shall in that day understand that the great spirit, the ever-present, the creator, the ever-present, is not an idol. You see that? This verse 15 is telling you that the great spirit, the ever-present Jehovah, the creator, Ohmaz, you see that? It's not an idol in the figure of man sitting on a throne. You see, this verse 15 is clearly telling you that the creator does not sit in the throne, does not sit on a throne. It's not an idol in the figure of a man. No one knows the figure of or the shape of the creator. Nobody knows. Nobody will ever know. The highest high-ranking angel does not even know the creator in his entirety. All they hear is the voice of the creator speaking to them. You see that? That's it. So your Christian Bible, the King James Bible, the extra Bible in Exodus said that they saw God face to face. What they saw was an angel. They had a conversation. They saw an angel face to face. They didn't see the creator face to face. Brothers and sisters, this topic was just to decode and let us out of bondage that you can't see the creator face to face. That's impossible. And if anyone is telling you they've seen the creator face to face, like I said, you need to ask them for a New York State ID. Ask them for an identification card, because that's falsehood. And I'm gonna do a video about who they saw, who the Israelites saw. What they saw was an angel, but who exactly was the God of Moses? The God of Moses was an angel, and he was a God, but not the creator. Now, you need to differentiate that. You need to know the difference. People don't know the difference. People still think that the creator and God is the same, but OahspeCollegeUniversity is telling us that they're not the same. So, in my upcoming video in the future, I'm going to do a video about who was the God of Moses. The God of Moses was not the creator. There's an angel. There was an angel that was assigned to Moses, and he was a God. And that God was the God of the forefathers of Moses, which happened to be Abraham's God. That's not the creator, though. So we have to know the difference. People don't know the difference. They think that God and the creator is the same, but no, they're not. And OahspeCollegeUniversity decodes this already and tells you. And like I said, if you not watch my video about what is an angel and who is God, you should go watch that. The difference, and I have presentation videos that was done that shows you OahspeCollegeUniversity verses that tells you clearly that, what the book of Discipline, chapter 1, verse 14 says, that, hear your God, O man, and distinguish that the two, God and Jehovah, are not the same, nor is your God more than what you shall be in time to come. Light and peace, brothers and sisters. I'm going to do a video about who was the God of Moses. The God of Moses was an angel, and that angel was the God of Moses, but he was not the creator. Light and peace, brothers and sisters. Bye now. Subscribe to my YouTube video and OahspeCollegeUniversity teaching in my YouTube video that tells you, that clarify things, that clarify confusion from the King James Bible. Over the years, a lot of people are still confused about a lot of things, and this is why the OahspeCollegeUniversity came about, so I can teach and lift you guys up from the bondage. Light and peace, brothers and sisters. Bye now.